You're watching the Top 6 Show, the original multi-club fan channel. Make sure you're following us now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link is in the description below. Welcome back to the Top 6 Show, sponsored by our friends at Match Bingo. Get yourself signed up now, download their app and get 10 free cards per month until the end of the season. It's an amazing game to play during Premier League games, Championship games as well. We'll go into a bit more detail about them later. We've got a brilliant panel for you tonight on the show. We have Ram in the house. We've got Sard, George and Patty. Ty's back with us again here, and man like Don. We've also got Igal joining us at around 7 p.m. So we'll be saving the Arsenal section until he arrives, because I think he's tried to do 7 o'clock to avoid it. I ain't letting it happen. The man has got to answer for his crimes. He said they were winning 4-0 last night. The football gods were upset with him. 4-0. 4-0 away from home. Talking like he's, like he's Real Madrid, like Ronaldo's Real Madrid. So all of that to come and more. Panel, how are you all? You all well? You all good?
Looking forward to today's show, man. I'm looking forward to cooking Arsenal, man. I really, really am.
Yep.
I have mixed feelings.
I love how Don's down there as a Chelsea fan, just about with his head above mid-table, and he's like, "Yep, I can't wait to cook Arsenal." I love the shameless stuff. I love it. I'm loving it. Where I wanted to start actually today was with Liverpool, but more so the news surrounding Alonso, and some of the breaking news that's come out late yesterday from Germany is that Ram, he potentially prefers a move to Bayern Munich over Liverpool. What's your initial gut feeling to that news that he may turn you down and stay in Germany?
Very disappointing, obviously. Like, we all know how good Alonso's been doing for Bayer Leverkusen. We all know how good he is as a manager. I think he's shown his capacity in the highest level. And obviously dethroning Bayern Munich, it should be something that should be commended for. Obviously, it's going to be a bit disappointing given the fact that, Liverpool, that Alonso connection, people forget he used to play for Bayern Munich himself. So they got just as much as a first dibs than we do. So, look, it's going to be disappointing. But again, there's so many managers out there that I think is not going to be the end of the world. I'm happy. In my original plan, I wanted him to go to somewhere like Bayern Munich before he comes to Liverpool. But it's just whether we can find the right manager if he doesn't end up coming to us, whether he's going to be good enough to continue what Jurgen Klopp is doing with this Liverpool team. All I can say is hopefully we can find someone that's just as adequate as he is.
Is it? I mean, there are people saying that the journalists have sort of changed his tune today. What I do love when it comes, I can't actually pronounce this guy's name. Is it Flair? I can't pronounce it.
I know exactly who you're talking about, though.
Florian Pletterberg.
His name breaks my dyslexia into pieces. It just makes my brain turn to mush. But there's some people saying that he's changed his tune today, which is fair. There are some Liverpool fans saying, I don't trust him. But the same Liverpool fans are sending me DMs of him saying that Thomas Tuchel wants Man United. So they believe it when Tuchel's linked to Man United, but not when Alonso is linked to Liverpool. But Bayern Munich are not having a great year, George. But surely they're still as big a pool as Liverpool for someone like Alonso.
I don't hearing that news was crazy to me, to be honest. Plettenberg, if for German news, I wouldn't doubt his knowledge. He calls out a lot of the stuff a long time before it comes out. So I'd say that he is very reliable. With regards to him being more favored to the Bayern job, it's surprising. It's surprising, honestly, because if you look at the challenge of Bayern, it's not much of a challenge. He could stay at that Bayern Leverkusen team, and for me personally, I think it'd be better and for his career to, if he did want to stay in Germany, for example, stay at that Bayern Leverkusen team and put that Bayern team to the side for a couple of years. Show them that this league isn't going to be run by Bayern, because they aren't just a mess with the manager. They aren't just a mess with the team. They're a mess whole structurally, Bayern. I know they've gone through a load of changes over the past year with Oliver Kahn leaving and so on. And I just can't really see why Xabi would go there. I don't really see much for him at that job. He's already proved himself in Germany. After this season, if he does win the league, he's shown, look, I can go there first year, get this done. If he wants to better himself and better his managerial career, the only step is the Premier League. They come to the Premier League, come back home where you started off your like career and sort of made your name for yourself. Come to Liverpool and show us what you can do. Show us what you can do amongst the big boys, because going over and doing the job over in Bayern, doing it in Germany, he's not really going to get much from us. We're not really going to give him the recognition that he deserves. And quite frankly, the way that I see it is Lampard's tried it, Gerrard's tried it, Alonso, like, he's the only man that's next. I mean,
I was going to say, George, one thing that I'd say about Alonso is that he's the kind of guy, comparing it obviously with Gerrard and Lampard, he doesn't rush into things because he's had offers left, right, and center when he was at Sociedad B team. And he said, no, I want to still learn my trade before I go to like a top team. And then he went to Bayer Leverkusen. Now he's starting to build his stripes. Like, the one thing I've rated Xabi Alonso ahead of those guys is that he knows what his level is at the moment. And he knows that he doesn't want to jump the gun too early. He knows that he's still young.
I'll be honest, the way that I see it is if he does go Bayern, Liverpool's completely out of the question in the future, because the step from Bayern is to go to Real Madrid next. He'll go to his next bigger club because Real Madrid going to need a manager soon.
Completely disagree, George.
Liverpool, a big club, man.
Nah, do you know what?
I
completely disagree with that. It's not just jumping to Real Madrid after Bayern. I think, I could actually see this, funny enough. As much as Tuchel's linked to Man United, whether Ten Hag stays or not, I can actually imagine Tuchel being at Liverpool for some reason. And I know you wouldn't want it. I know you wouldn't want it, but I could imagine Liverpool going down that route, and it would never shock me. It would not. Honestly.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm so happy you brought him on. I'm so happy you brought him on.
How dare you?
That's Liverpool fans right now to you, Ty. I'm telling you.
They're not
going to have it.
You see the fear in Ram's eyes?
Let me land quickly. Yeah, just let him land. Let me land quickly, because for me, at the end of the day, right, if I'm Xabi Alonso, as much as people are saying Leverkusen could dominate, I think Leverkusen, I don't want to say one season syndrome, but they could lose some key players. Boniface could leave in the summer. Florian Wirtz could leave in the summer. And these are the players that are pivotal in them winning the Bundesliga this year. For me, if you go to Bayern Munich, where you've played already, they're sorting out the structure, like George said. It is easier to win the league. Let's not get it twisted. Bayern Munich, it is easier to win the league. And for me, if he goes there and builds the experience of being at a big club with that sort of pressure, that will only help him when he's coming to the Premier League. Now, look, let's not get it twisted. Jurgen Klopp's not going to be here because obviously it would be the Liverpool job he goes for. Pep Guardiola, we do not know where he's going to be in 2 to 3 years. So Xabi Alonso times it right and goes to Bayern Munich, wins the league with Bayern Munich, gets them competitive in the Champions League again, and then comes to the Premier League when Pep potentially ain't here either. I think he's built up his experience, and like my man said, top right up here, he is a clever manager. He knows what he wants. He doesn't need to rush anything. The world's his oyster. And I think timing's everything. And if he goes to Bayern first, then Liverpool, he'll be more ready for that Liverpool job than he would be now. And
Ty, what you're ruling out, though, he might be more ready for the Liverpool job, but that's just assuming that the Liverpool job's going to be there. That's assuming that the manager that they get in isn't a successful person, because
he might not be in a rush to get the Liverpool job, though. He could get that in 5 years, 6 years.
Okay,
I think he would be Liverpool.
What if I put this out there? Say we get Hansi Flick. I want Hansi Flick to come in. If we get Hansi Flick for 3 seasons and now Xabi Alonso wants to leave Bayern Munich, then what?
Yeah, perfect timing. That's how I'm looking at it. You hit a crossroads. It's going to happen.
The thing is that there's also going to be other club opportunities. It's not only Liverpool in the picture. His options aren't just Liverpool, Real Madrid. There's going to be.
Let me spin the block then. Real Madrid or Liverpool. Real Madrid are probably the only team above Liverpool that he would want to go to if he left Bayern. That's how I see it. Liverpool would be that number one choice. Real Madrid.
Well, like I said, that's at this moment in time, because that's come out. These are the 3 clubs he's played for. It's very easy to just point at these 3 clubs and say these are the clubs he wants. But that's assuming that there isn't a better project out there. That's assuming that, oh yeah, he does 3 good years at Bayern. Why won't Man City want him? You said Pep leaves. Why won't City come in and say, do you know what? I want you to come in. Let's be honest here. Ram, let's be honest here. You guys have a good project. You're a big club. But when a project's on the table like Manchester City or another big club like that who's willing to throw money at the table, and like you say, the timing, timing is very key in a lot of these things. If that type of club comes in, he's not going to think, oh yeah, I love Liverpool, I want to go to Liverpool because that's my club. He's going to go for the project that's better for him and better for his career. And at this moment in time, I would agree, Liverpool is probably the best project for him to take right now. But 3 years down the line, that's a very
George has a good point, because we don't even know what state Liverpool are going to be in. You know what I mean? Because it don't matter what manager they bring in right now, no one's going to be as good as Klopp. you know. So in, let's say 3 years time or whatever, Liverpool might be back to, you know, them Channel 4 days when they used to play Europa League, yeah, back then. It might be.
Hey, we're still on BT Sport, Don. Stop it, man.
it might be back to that in 3 years time. We don't know, innit? So I get what George is saying. I get what.
No, but even then, if you take into account all that, wouldn't he still take the job? Because again, it'll look good in his CV that he rebuilt Liverpool back where Jurgen Klopp used to take him.
Exactly.
But the thing is though, if he's done well at, let's say, at Bayern Munich, why is he gonna technically downgrade and go somewhere where he's got a lot? Hold on tight, like George has said, yeah. Let's say Man City need a manager at the time, or I don't know, for argument's sake, Chelsea are in a different position at the time, yeah, where our owners are a little bit more ambitious than FSG. He might have more options that are more attractive at that time. I'm not saying Liverpool aren't a big club. I'm just saying we don't know the job that's going to be at hand in the next 3 years' time. Because after Klopp leaves, it's the unknown as it is right now. It's the unknown, bro.
Can I ask a question? Play devil's advocate. I rate Alonso. I think this is a potential for one of the next great managers. But could a Liverpool, even potentially a Bayern Munich, come a little bit too soon for him? Should he not maybe do another year or two where
do a Champions League season with Leverkusen?
That's what I think. Because people say that I see Leverkusen a bit like what Dortmund is. I don't think all their players are going to go. I don't think all of that is going to be a mass raid on their entire team. I think maybe one player might leave or a couple of players, but not like the entire exodus of the entire team leaving the whole club. I think a lot of that spine will still be there. And that's why I'm saying, if I was Alonso, I would probably stay at Leverkusen for a couple more seasons instead of going to Bayern. Obviously, this is coming from a Liverpool fan.
Think you need to sometimes strike when the iron's hot, because he's hot right now. 2-3 years, he might finish 4th, might finish 5th. He might finish, he might not win the league again. Liverpool aren't going to be looking at him the same way they're going to look at him. And nor will Bayern. Bayern aren't going to think, yeah, that's the manager to come take over our team.
But you can also, George, you can also come at it from a different perspective there, because you can also come at it from the other side of what if they take the risk on him now and then he ends up going to Liverpool and doesn't have the same effect, can't build the same kind of team, starts finishing 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Then his legacy, or not his legacy, but his reputation is.
When you think, if Liverpool finish 4th next season, that's a successful season still. Just considering new manager, new project. Not obviously, like, let's be real here, like that's a step up. That's him to maintain the level. But if you're at Leverkusen and you're at Bayern and you're finishing 4th and 5th, that's completely different conversations. That's a bad season.
But George, the way I see it, yeah, is that when you look at what he's done with Leverkusen, I'll put some context behind it. They haven't won a league title in their entire history. They haven't won a trophy since 1992. And for him to go and dethrone Bayern Munich, let's remember 11 in a row, Bayern Munich, that is going to be on his CV until the end of time. That is going to be. He's the first guy in almost 32 years to win a trophy for Bayer Leverkusen, the Tottenham of Germany. That will stay with him, and that people will still live off that if you want to go off that. So, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not throwing shade, but they are. I'm not throwing shade. They are.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
No, Patrick. If they're
I've been chilling. I'm not saying.
They're not calling biting. He's just waffling because we've got
no, Pat. If they're called Neverkusen, if they're called Neverkusen or Zweitenkusen, which means second in the league, Leverkusen, then they're basically the Tottenham Hotspur of Germany.
Yeah, but Tottenham have won league titles. Bayer Leverkusen haven't.
It's poor. You know what? I've been listening, and I think, and this is to George, this is to you, Rams. I think us as Premier League fans, sometimes we're so caught in a bubble, and we just think that the Premier League is the be-all and end-all. Bayern Munich is a massive club, one of the biggest clubs. In the summer, we had loads of people saying, why would Harry Kane want to go to Bayern Munich? There's no way he goes there. And lo and behold, he went there. Bayern Munich have pull. The Bundesliga is still an attractive proposition. And just because the Premier League is the biggest league and we live in it, and obviously we live, breathe and sleep it, these other leagues still have big pools. And for Alonso right now, living in Germany and being in Germany, I can see why he would probably take the Bayern Munich job over the Liverpool job. Munich are a bigger club than Liverpool right now. They are, in terms of their stature, what's going on there. yeah, I don't see it as.
I don't think it's. Do you know what? For me, Patrick, I agree with you because you're obviously saying what I'm saying with Bayern, but I don't think it's about the bigger club situation. I think it's about his career and development, and he can win at Bayern, build his experience, and then come to the Premier when he's more.
He's still got
ready.
plenty of time as a manager. He's a very young manager. He doesn't need to rush into a Liverpool.
It is true. It is true. I get what you're saying. Again, Thomas Tuchel. I've said it before. Shows how ugly the man is. He's about to come second in a beauty contest when he's the only one who entered, and it's embarrassing. But I think going to Bayern Munich, playing the way Alonso does, do 2, 3, 4 years there, build your experience up, especially as a Champions League manager.
Yep.
Get all your mistakes, all your problems. It's like the thing is this: like we look at, and I will talk in Arsenal later, but you look at Mikel Arteta. If Mikel Arteta had made all the mistakes he's made in the last 4 years, but he did it in a league that none of us watch religiously, he would be looked at in a very different way than coming to Arsenal 4 or 5 years in, because you wouldn't really remember the mistakes that have been made. The problem is with a lot of managers, they make their mistakes in full sight. I think Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Rooney, all these guys, Gary Neville definitely did it, took far too high profile jobs far too early in their careers. Now, I know Bayern Munich is a high profile job, but you're doing it in an environment where, barring this anomaly of a year with Leverkusen, you're almost guaranteed to win. You're almost guaranteed to be successful. It's like managing PSG. I honestly think David Moyes would win the league with those. You think about average Premier League managers, they'd all walk the league with those clubs most years, as an example. So look, I think I don't want him to go Liverpool either. I do think that Alonso's got some greatness in him. Just looking at the way he manages, talks, how his team plays, I want him as far away from Liverpool as possible, because I'm hoping for a little dip after Mr. Klopp leaves.
I think
we're not going to get it.
I'll be honest. I think it just carrying on from that, the way he speaks, the way he manages, the way he handles his team, and how he has different options. He's very mature for being a new manager. Do you know what I mean? He's very mature in the way that he manages. I think the possibility that Bayern fans and Liverpool fans don't want to hear is that I think he might stay. I think he might say, nah, listen, for the good of my career, I'm not going to make that big move yet. I don't want to make that big move. I've built this team. I want to go through with this team, go into the Champions League, you know what I mean? Try my luck with this team to try and get far in Champions League, build my my credit with this team, because he wants to do well with Bayer Leverkusen. He's built it from the ground up. So
do you think he might go with the fact they would have less like pressure and expectation in the Champions League, so he can kind of like do his thing with Leverkusen? Into his hands.
I think he might genuinely stay for a year, maybe 2 years, 2 years max. But I think he'll stay for another year just to get him into the Champions League.
Honestly, I think he'll go this year. Rightly or wrongly, I think he'll go. There's a comment here that says the disrespect. Why are they struggling under Tuchel then? Because Tuchel isn't good enough. I've got a theory about Tuchel. So why I don't want him at Man United. I think Tuchel, and this isn't a dig at Chelsea, but when he was winning at Chelsea, when he won the Champions League, etc., it was kind of done when Chelsea weren't expected to. Whenever he goes somewhere or manages somewhere where he's an underdog or not expected to be at the top, he seems to do a good job. As soon as it's in a position where you now must deliver, because after he won the Champions League and Chelsea spent money, his team wasn't the same. He's gone to Bayern Munich. They look a shadow of themselves as an example.
Yeah, PSG fell short in the Champions League.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think some managers, I actually think Poch fits in this category as well. There are certain individuals that are great managing the big clubs, but not the giant clubs with the huge expectations. And and this is not meant as a dig at any of those clubs. There was just I always remember what Berbatov said. You know, he'd been in Champions League finals with Leverkusen. He'd been at Tottenham and played in big games. He said he then went on a pre-season tour with Man United, and he said, I've never seen anything like it in my life. The pressure that comes with it, the media that comes with it, it's a different kettle of fish. And that's not a flex. It's just the reality of the situation. And I think Thomas Tuchel, when he's at a Hollywood club where there is so much attention, I think like his hairline, it falls away.
I don't think he's a good man.
Sorry, brother. I am still officially part of the bald club. I just repositioned my hair to the front, bruv, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So,
I don't think he's a good man manager, honestly. Like the play, he's lost the entire dress room. Like people are calling him out in interviews. Thomas Muller saying like he's a sellout. Like he's never been a great man manager. Thomas Muller called him a sellout. He said he sold out. Like he's a sellout
in a post-match interview.
Is that
Like,
the
he
one where
was-
you were shouting, going mad?
Yeah, he was going mad. Yeah,
Bro,
that
bro,
was that.
Didn't he? Doesn't he? Doesn't he have?
I wanted him out before he got
Has-
sacked because it was very clear how we were playing that the players didn't want to play for him no more, bro.
Hasn't he had a disagreement with Kimmich as well? There's a
Yeah,
massive
Kimmich is
disagreement. He
gonna
doesn't
leave.
play him.
There's
He doesn't play
lots-
him anymore.
Listen, you
Yeah.
know it's desperate, and I mean I say this with respect because he's a legend of my club, and I genuinely love him. But when a club like Bayern Munich is thinking about bringing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in on an interim,
That's
that
crazy.
just tells you
They're a
all you
mess.
need to know. And there's a disrespect to that. Have you guys seen that video of that lady getting up on stage and dancing with some guy at a concert? You've seen it.
That's been
My
all over
chest-
my Twitter feed
yeah,
today.
my
man.
chest, man,
Firstly,
my chest
listen,
hurts.
how that man stayed there watching, I would have just well, it wouldn't have happened to me, but like because I just wouldn't have happened. But that's the disrespect I think that we're seeing now when it comes to Ollie being linked. But what do you guys make, Ty? What do you make of the links of Tuchel to Manchester United? Because it feels to me and sounds to me like his agents are pushing that more so than Man United is seriously considering it.
Bro, how fun is it? I came on it last week for the first time in ages, and I said it, didn't I? I said Tuchel to Man United. I could just imagine it because he's got that charisma. And I know people might say he hasn't, but I mean, he's got that aura, he's got that kind of charisma, that personality in press conferences that he will always say something a bit car crashy that will just make it set in the news. And I watched Thomas Tuchel when we played Bayern in the Champions League, and what sold it to me that I thought this guy wants a Man United job is that they interviewed him and they were already progressed into. We played him in the last game, I think, our home, didn't we? And we lost. We played him in the last group game, and they were like, yeah, you're gonna rotate and everything because obviously you're through now and you can take it easy. He goes, I'm never gonna rotate. These players dream of playing the stadiums like Old Trafford, coming to Old Trafford. This is what they want to do. And you go, I'm going to play full strength. I'm going to go all out. And I thought, this guy is basically selling everything. He's talking about Man United, but basically using his players to talk about Man United. Does that make sense? And I thought this guy wants the Man United job because he's gone to Chelsea. He probably feels like it's unfinished business, if I'm honest. And I think he wants to come back to the Premier League. And I feel like the timing of Man United getting a structure, getting the rebuild going, he wants to be part of that. But would I take Tuchel? I've always said I'm very 50-50 because managers like him, managers like Antonio Conte, and managers like Tuchel, I put him in that bracket of when it's going right and the boat is sailing down the ocean and there's no waves, it's lovely. When there's a few waves and the boat starts rocking, you can only see it going downwards. I don't look at them as recovery managers. Like Ten Hag, right? I'm not trying to defend Ten Hag, but Ten Hag has been in the mud this season and a lot of fans have wanted him gone. I'm still saying, right, I'll give him a bit of time. But he's pulled out of it a little bit. We've got 6 wins in a row, 5 wins in a row, and he's just keeping his mouth shut and doing his thing. If Tuchel hits a run like that, I see him coming out in the press conferences saying rubbish. I think management with players is just going to completely go. And that's what I'm worried about, Terry. With the new structure, the new regime coming in, does Tuchel fit what they want to do? I don't know. Does Tuchel want that Man United job? 100% he does.
I think that's the wrong decision.
And
for you
Tuchel,
guys.
one
Where
thing
you
about
guys
Tuchel
are-
as well. One thing about Tuchel as well. He's bro, tactically, he's very stubborn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can never disrespect him for winning the Champions League. I think he came in, that squad wasn't good enough, but he managed to squeeze everything he could out of it, right? And give us a little bit of a boost. Because if you guys remember, Lampard had Rudiger, guys like that frozen out of the squad, and then he brought him back in. Do you know what I mean? And that Champions League run, we literally conceded, what was it, 4 goals? I think the whole tournament.
Well, look, he even said
knockout stage.
he doesn't teach forward play. He says like I let the players improvise and just play off the bat. Look at your
And
Champions
yeah,
League. You just said it.
we
Yes,
defended the way to the Champions League.
And this is the problem though, because offensively, bro, it was getting worse every single week. I'm seeing us struggling to score.
Yep.
You know, poor patterns in front of goal. You know, there was no creativity apart from the wing backs. Cool, you can say the recruitment team should have got out and bought a midfielder that can create like a Fabregas. That was the last creative midfielder we had before we brought in Jorginho, for example. But tactically, bro, when something's not working with the guy, next game you will see him do it again. And the other game, you see him do it again. I saw this guy play.
There's a reason
fullback.
Bayern didn't have a shot last week. First time in 11 years in the Champions League group.
Is it? Do you think it's a coincidence? Lukaku touched the ball how many times that game? 7 times for us, and then Kane as well. He's gone to Bayern Munich and he touched the ball 7 times. Look at the manager for that, bro.
Yeah,
Would you want him, Terry?
No. I mean, it's just straight out no. For there was a guy that tweeted something today, and I didn't retweet it because he's a bit of a beg, to be honest. He's one of those people that always slags off what I say, but is always in my DMs begging to come on shows. And I don't like duplicitous people like that. You slag me off in public, but behind the scenes, like, oh my God, please let me come on your show. Nah, bro. You just don't act like that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's weird. But he sort of said, he said something along the lines of, if you want Ten Hag to stay, fair enough, but wanting him to be sacked and Tuchel to come in as a replacement is weird. And I agree. I don't think you're upgrading. But if I listen to what Sir Jim has said, and it was honestly, I was nearly in tears watching Sir Jim's interview, because he's literally, all the debates I've had online, and probably all of you on the panel now, Ram probably goes back the furthest in terms of being on the terrace. But the amount of Jose in, Jose out, Ollie in, Ollie out debates we've had, and I've sat there and said, look, it doesn't really matter what we do until the club decides on a style of football, until the club decides how we're going to play, until we fix the culture, until there is a genuinely good decision makers at a football level running and steering the football club. And we're doing all of that. I can't, if we do this, it's gonna break me very early with Sir Jim. If we go through this whole structure and then we decide on a style of football, and we believe the best coach, because again, he said the coach will have to coach our style of football. If you then picking Tuchel, it means that's how we're deciding to play. And with this whole revolution that's coming and this whole rebuild, imagine picking Tuchel's style to be the what underpins it all. That makes me feel sick. Do you know what I'm saying? That's like being a billionaire, having all the money in the world, and you start buying your clothes at Primark.
Yeah, can't agree more.
It will feel like a double shift. Every time you watch United, it will feel like a double shift. It will feel like a chore watching your team. I preferred playing football at the weekends than watching my team at one point.
I think this is his agent using the Man United situation to put himself in the shop window, because he has been sacked. I know people hate those headlines, but he's been sacked. At the end of the season, he will not be the manager. He's already been told, you're a dead man walking. The only way he goes earlier is if it gets even worse, and that may still happen. But he's gone. I don't want him at Man United. I know he's won the Champions League, but he has failed really at every one of his last 3 clubs. That isn't, even though within that there's been some trophies. I look at how managers leave football clubs as much as I look at what they achieved, and it isn't like 10-year peak and right at the end he had a bad season. You look at his last 3 jobs. Look how he's left them all. That for me is a problem. It's a bloody problem.
He's been Bayern's worst ever manager for almost 2 decades. Says a lot.
I think the rebuttal is for that one. The rebuttal I keep seeing online is he's accumulated the most points or something like that so far for Bayern at this point.
It's a one-horse race, isn't it?
Something like that.
Don, I'm gonna say this, yeah. This guy took the Bayern job. They were first, and somehow I think they're about 7 points ahead of Dortmund. But somehow they had to limp their way and rely on a Jamal Musiala last-minute winner to win the Bundesliga. Make it make sense, my bro. Please. And
Dortmund at the same time bottle it against a
Dortmund. Exactly.
Like, it's crazy. Again, and we Man United need to be aiming for better than that. I think Tuchel comes with too much baggage, too much history, and there's already going to be a bit of a kind of a bitter taste in people's mouths. And I think that listening to what Sir Jim and the team there have said so far, they're going to sound things out, and they'll let things sit in the media for a bit, and I think they'll use it. But
he's stressed, bro. Have you noticed, bro? When he left Chelsea, this guy had color in his hair, bro. He's lost that color in his hair now, bro. He's looking old. You know what I mean? He's looking like the past 2 years. He's stressed, bro. I can't lie. I'm not even trying to joke, son. I'm being serious, bro. He looks stressed out. He looks stressed. He looks like he's aged by like 5 years, bro. Honestly,
the biggest thing about bringing in a manager like Terry said, like Tuchel, and his style of play, it sets a bad precedent going forward, because you bring in Tuchel, you guys start to play this way, and then when you eventually do have to sack him, because let's be honest, he's not going to take your club to the promised land, you're going to then have to find another manager that plays similar football to Tuchel. There's not a lot of top managers playing 3 at the back system, unless you go over to get our old man, Antonio Conte. You can get him to replace Tuchel or just revolve them. You're going to have to go on this roundabout of trying to find managers that play 3 at the back or play this defensive system. And it's for one, it's just a sore eyes for the fans to watch. It's going to put more pressure on our club, more pressure on the ownership to then deliver some success. But then also, like you said, going forward, it's just going to be horrible to try and find replacements. So Tuchel's everything but the wrong man for the Man United job.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know who the right man is? Shall I tell you who the right man is for the Man United job? Xabi Alonso. He will never go. He will never go.
You'll say he'll never go, and I understand why. I understand why, but I want him. There is part of me that's just falling in love with the idea. And maybe it's because I know I can't have him. You know, in life,
Terry,
all of us had a woman in our life like that. You know you ain't getting her, but you're like, oh, please. I like the
Terry,
idea
that
of
makes
Matt Busby 2.0.
that don't make
Liverpool
sense.
legend managing our club.
That don't make sense though, because previously, before you said you would never have someone that was a Liverpool legend manage your football club because it's just a bit of bit like Rafa Benitez did with Everton.
That's very true. What I meant by that is someone who's like a Klopp. I wouldn't have Klopp do it because he's managed your team. But on this, I would create an exception. Because I do think he's a Liverpool legend, but you guys still did him dirty. Remember how you guys forced him out your club chasing Gareth Barry? Remember that? That is what I would be using.
Not us.
Yeah,
we
your club,
wanted him to stay.
You're one. Hang on a minute. Hang on a fucking minute. Don't you not walk alone, you dickhead? Like
I wanted him to stay.
Oh,
hang on a minute. I wanted him to stay.
You're outing yourself with a wall there, bruv. You are a wall. And yes, I do want him out of spite. But again, I just like the idea of Alonso lifting that Champions League when we complete our second treble under the leadership of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But he's a Liverpool legend doing it. There's something about that. It's a thing of beauty. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a dirty story.
Imagine the day when you get your wedding pictures. The wedding pictures come out of you and your beautiful wife. And it's a girl that your op was chasing for years and he got nowhere near. Do you know what I'm saying? There's something extra special.
It'll hit different. Yeah. I get it. I get it, Terry, because bro, it's very similar to Poch. Like if Poch wins if he wins the final this weekend, bro, obviously I'm coming for these two. You know what I'm saying? Jules and Patrick. You know what I mean? You couldn't do it over there. Don't worry.
I like it. Patrick took a fake phone call. I love that.
Patrick's just checking where his op is and his missus is. What's going on? I'll make sure that ain't happening to me. He doesn't want his relationship to go Spursy, bro. You know what I mean? I won't. Patty's too nice a guy. Listen, another Liverpool fan out on himself was walking alone. I thought you never walked alone. Suddenly,
I wanted him to stay, Terry.
You've outed yourselves. Speaking of Liverpool, this weekend, big game, Chelsea-Liverpool, Carabao Cup final. How you feeling about it, Don? Because they've got injuries galore. At the moment, their bench is literally looking like the extras from Grange Hill. It's a bunch of kids, literally a bunch of kids. Are you feeling confident you could get one over on Liverpool this weekend?
I should be feeling confident, Terry, with the team that I've got. But I'm still skeptical, bro. I'm in February now, and I'm yet to say Chelsea have turned the corner. And a big part of that is my manager. You know, the past 2-3 weeks, he's picked it up tactically. The first half against Man City was good. Crystal Palace, the second half, he managed to do enough to get a win out of that game. And obviously, Aston Villa, that was a very good performance over 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping that these past few results where he's changed things tactically are going to allow him now to go into this game and say, listen, we can't pull up to Wembley at that big pitch the same way that we did at Anfield. Leaving Caicedo by himself, leaving. How can you laugh like that, Terry? leaving all that space on the pitch.
You doing that on that size of a football pitch.
Exactly. This is my point. So I'm just hoping now, like, surely there's no way in hell this man is going to revert back to the things that weren't working before, because like I said 1,000,001 times, we've got a good team. I know these guys are young, but when you play Levi in his position, these are the sort of performances that you get. You know what I mean? And obviously Liverpool right now, they're missing a lot of their main players. Do you know what I'm saying? I know we've got a lot of injuries right now, but our team, the way it's been built, it's been able to handle the amount of injuries that we've got because we've got guys in reserve. You know what I'm saying? And I think our strongest 11 should be strong enough and be able to beat Liverpool, because right now, bro, you won't get a better opportunity to beat these, man. But in the back of my mind, man, I'm just skeptical, man. I'm just Jules. Let me
because I know that first half against Luton, Don was licking his lips. He was like, "What?"
Bro, I wasn't even watching the game. I was watching you, man. Your snooze fest yesterday. I was watching that game instead.
There you
but
are.
like I said, bro, Terry, listen. Everything right now is aligning for us to win the game. Like, Poch won't get a better opportunity. These players won't get a better opportunity. Because let's be real, Liverpool have been weakened. You know what I mean? They've been weakened. But how I look at it, they should still be able to put out an 11 that can do something, something. But we should have more than enough to beat these lot, man. Honestly,
Don,
I'm tired.
You're saying you're tired. Now I'm going to pull you out slightly here. Because you spoke for like 3 minutes. But you didn't really tell us what you think is going to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? It was all if this happens. Yeah. So what do you personally see happening this Sunday, 3 p.m. when you take on the might of Liverpool and Klopp?
I think if we set up correctly, we beat them. In my opinion.
Don. This is the funniest thing. Do you know why? Because
I have to be specific.
I
have to be specific.
We're on like episode 50 now this season.
Yeah,
bro.
George, I'm thinking every Sunday. This is regular.
And every week, this is what we get. Because there was a couple weeks where Don just said, you know what, our team's rubbish. We're not going to do it. Our team's rubbish. We're not going to do it. And then he's gone back to
rubbish. I said, I'm my manager.
Now we've gone back to the setup and Cole centre back and
George. Yeah.
He's gone back to this is what he's gone back to now. He says is Poch knows how to do it because I've seen him do it before. I see him in this game.
It's true.
And we are good. So if Poch just does this against Liverpool, we're gonna play good, man. I see it going our way. I see like you have this thing where every other week it's Poch sells you a little dream. You get a little bit of hope, you buy back into it, and then he shows you yet again. It's not that, my bro. It's not.
That's what I'm saying, Jules. But the thing is, right now, his hand's kind of been forced because I think Silva's still injured, isn't it? So he's got no choice but to play Levi Cole at the back. And Jamie Redknapp the other day was saying, oh, look at Levi the past few games. He's been looking good. He's been passing into the midfield. And I'm like, bro, that's just how he plays when he's played in his normal position. So as much as you're trying to get me to say a mad thing right now, I have to be honest, I still don't trust this manager. He could just wake up on Sunday and say, yeah, I'm going to do a madness today. I'm going to sabotage this. You know what I mean? Right? The same way that he decided to start Harry Kane when Lucas Moura just scored a hat-trick. He can do a mad thing. So right now, like I said, Terry, I'm confident in my players to do the job. It's this manager, bro.
So I get you, right? But you have to factor that all in. So it's almost, yeah, you're right. If Chelsea play brilliantly and play better than Liverpool, they'll win. But the question really is, do you think that's going to happen genuinely?
Please. Straight answer, Don. I don't want no essay, please. Just a straight answer.
I think it's, yeah. Listen, bro. I think he must keep it the same. I think he will keep it the same in terms of the
question. Don, answer the question,
bro. It's hard, bro. It's hard, bro. I watch my team.
It's hard. Just answer the damn question.
Yo, Don. You're in the back of Terry's van. You need to get out. You need to get out.
No, Terry's trying to put me in a corner, yeah. But you guys don't understand. I watch my team week in, week out, and I've seen this manager. And I've seen this manager revert back to stupidity numerous times. So you can't get onto me for being skeptical about him and what he's going to decide to do on the day.
I get that. I'm just trying to, like, you're sweating so much. I see the do-rag is sliding back, bro. I can see it. Oh, my G. Because, Patty, how do you see this game going? By the way, I do get where Don's coming from. But, like, Patty, do you see Chelsea pulling this off? We're probably going to see Darwin and Salah come back for this game. Or do you just see it being inevitable that the better team will win on the day?
If I've got to answer it properly, instead of being a politician and slipping and sliding and just going around in circles for 5 minutes, Liverpool will win the game. And I know in football, anything can happen. And on their day, Chelsea could do this and Chelsea could do that. But I've seen Pochettino play Son at left back in a big semi-final against Chelsea. I've seen Pochettino, as Don rightly stated, play Harry Kane, who was a statue and couldn't walk, in a massive final against Liverpool when you had Lucas Moura score a second half hat trick and get us through to the game. And he just does weird things in big moments. And yeah, Liverpool are a good team, man. And even with the team that they put out against Luton and people laughed, oh, look at the bench, look at this, look at that. Second half, they turned it on and annihilated them. And I know it's Luton, but give Luton credit because they've done well against the bigger teams. And Liverpool blew them out of the water. Liverpool are a good team. For me, probably the second best team in the land right now. Man City, because of their pedigree, going 3 in a row, winning the Champions League, you'd give it to them. But after that, it's Liverpool and then Arsenal. But yeah, Liverpool should beat them. And in a final, I know in a one-off game, anything can happen. But if we just got to look at the better team, better manager, better players, it all lies with Liverpool, and who plays the better football and also can turn things around when the chips are down. I've seen Liverpool do that in games when things aren't going their way. I've not really seen Chelsea do that. And I know they've had a good result against Liverpool at the beginning of the season. They got a draw, had a decent result against Man City, the 4-4 draw, and a few other games. But realistically, Liverpool have been consistent week in and week out. And that's why they are top of the league right now. So
but they're not invincible. They're not an invincible team. They're a good team.
They're a very good team. Let's have it right. And they're better than you guys, obviously, and that's not even being shady. And they just got more in their locker in all departments. So for me, I do think it's a final. It's a one-off game. Both teams could be nervous and edgy, and these things do play into it. But yeah, Liverpool are the better team, and they should win it. And I do see them winning.
Patrick,
can I ask a question?
Hold on, Ty,
well
before
done.
you come in, yeah. When we played Liverpool first game of the season, who would you say should have won that game?
You guys, but it was the first game of the season. Literally, it was a sunny August day. Managers didn't really know. Even to this day, does Poch know his best 11? Does he, Don?
Yeah, but Patrick, that
game, we had a brand new midfield.
We had Gallagher and Enzo in midfield that game, but we didn't have Caicedo in that game.
We had a brand new midfield.
Don,
that's fine.
Yeah, Don.
We had Carney, Gallagher, and Enzo. What type of dysfunctional?
So you're gonna win then, because you got them now.
Bro, I said if he sets us up correctly, I think we beat them. That's what I said.
All right. So what is the correct setup? Because you keep saying if. What is your setup that makes you win there? What do you need to see to get this win that you're talking about?
Good question.
Yeah. So I need to see Enzo and Caicedo close to each other. That's number one. That's key. Gallagher's gonna start this game, which I'm fine with because it's Liverpool. They're gonna come out to play. Let him start or whatever. Gusto right back, obviously. Chilwell left back. Cole and Disasi need to start. And then obviously up top you're gonna have Jackson playing there. Probably Sterling on the left. And then who played on the right?
Palmer.
Who played on the right the other day?
Palmer.
Palmer. There we go. How can I forget my boy? Yeah, Palmer on the right. That's how I want us to set up. And Jackson gave them problems in the first game, bro. He gave them real problems. When we played them at Anfield. Hold on, Jules.
You said you want to set up then.
Hold on, Jules. When we played them at Anfield, Jackson wasn't there. And as much as I think that Jackson should be a squad player coming in and starting certain games, he helps us play better. Do you know what I mean? With the link up play and knowing how to play in that position. I know he's not good at finishing, but in terms of his ability on the ball, he's very helpful in how he plays. Look at the assists he got.
What I need to know is because we all know politician, he's gonna come. If they don't start one of these players, he's gonna come. That's not the team I said. That's not the team. So what change? If let's just say there's one change made, if he takes one of those players out, who's the most important to make that change then? So what player, if he takes him out of the squad, makes a big difference from that team you've said that's gonna change your prediction? And
what do you mean who he takes out?
Like, let's just say he goes, Palmer doesn't start on the right. Then you go, all right, that's done for me. My prediction's out the window because Palmer didn't start on the right.
Yeah, but the thing is, looking at our squad right now, I don't see who he takes out because we don't have a striker. So I know Jackson will start. It's hard for me to look at someone right now who doesn't start because, like I said, Silva's injured.
I see what Don does here. Don just has his little. Don is. I told you, it must be a lawyer. He has a little small print at the bottom that's like. I'm just going to say that my team is as good as any of yours, but only if my manager does exactly what I say. That way, if we lose, I can just blame the manager, but I never really have to criticize the players because it's just on the manager here.
Nope, bro. If he sets us up right, Terry, if I see the lineup I want to see, and we lose the game, I'll say, bro, I was wrong. We were beaten. I'll look at individual performances. I'll see what happened. You know what I mean? But I think that gives us a better chance of winning.
I need to ask you as a Liverpool fan. I know you've got injuries at the minute, but if Chelsea set up right, are they a better team than you, as Don suggests? If the manager gets the formation right, he is suggesting that Chelsea are better than top of the league Liverpool. What are you saying?
No. I still think if you look at our first team, it's still more or less good enough to beat you guys. And I think the one thing that your team lacks is that clinical edge. I'm not talking about just scoring goals. I'm talking about making the right decisions at times. And remember, this is going to be the first time a lot of these players have played in the final. For your football club, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on you guys because I think people talking about favourites today for that game, I think for me is 60-40 to Liverpool. I think it's a really good opportunity, and people will say this is Chelsea's best opportunity to beat Liverpool in a final that they've get in quite a while. So I obviously I think with the Chelsea team, the inexperience, I think our team, what we have that they don't have, is that we've got experience of winning the big trophies against these guys. And I think individual players itself, I think we're just that little bit better than them as well. My main issue is if the likes of Salah and Nunes aren't available and nothing's working, who do we rely on? Because I saw our bench. We do not field a senior midfielder or attacker on that bench. So we are literally down to our bare bones. Unless we're going to play something like, I don't know, play Robertson at left wing and play Joe Gomez as the inverted left back, like something crazy like that. So I still think we're going to win it, but we're not going to cruise against them. I think we'll win by a 1-goal margin, maybe like a 1-0 or a 2-1 in my opinion.
Can I ask you something, Terry?
Go on, Ty.
Now, I
Go
want
on,
to
Ty.
ask you, Don. Let me quickly ask you something. Because when you think about it, Ram, right? Jurgen Klopp last season going for the league, and this is your potential last final under him, by the way, because you don't know if you're going to get to the FA Cup final, you don't know if you're going to get to Europa League final. You've got Pochettino, Don, struggling in his first season for Chelsea. People are questioning whether he's good enough for the job. But obviously, this is a final now that could bide him time. Who do you think needs this? Who do you think needs to win this final more in a sense? Because, and the reason I'm asking this, Ram, is because it could derail your mentality in terms of going for the league, the pressure, and then
You need to win it more than Poch.
I think we need to win it more than Poch, in
Cheers,
my
Terry.
opinion. I think it's more the case of, if we're looking at the momentum of this season and the way we're literally in all competitions, I say the one thing that we need is momentum, especially given the fact that we are down to our bare bones. We need to have some form of confidence within these players, and it's a little bit of self-belief, because at times this season we have lacked a little bit of self-belief, even though these players have shown themselves to be good enough to win football matches. And imagine them winning a League Cup, given the circumstances they have got, the momentum and the confidence that breeds for that entire Liverpool team is going to be a problem for everyone.
Yeah,
Do you think it's Poch? Don, do you think it's Poch?
Yeah, I think it's Poch. Everything that you've said, Ram, I agree with it. But in the context of this season, how it's gone, and the amount of pressure that Poch has been under with the fan base, he must win. And everyone's looking at you lot right now and saying, yo, Chelsea might not be the favourites because they're yet to prove it, because they're young, like you've said, and Pochettino's bottled it, and everyone's skeptical and whatnot. But you won't get a better chance to find Liverpool weakened than what he's found right now. And we've got, like I said, we've got a good enough team to be beating you, bro. Like every time we play you lot, I'm never scared of you guys, bro.
The way I see it, Don, is you guys can fall back on the excuse of you've got kids. You've got kids that need that experience of being in the big games.
Ram, I get where you're coming from. It has to be Chelsea. It has to be Chelsea. If you guys don't win a trophy this year, if Liverpool don't win anything this year, Klopp still leaves to a fanfare. He still leaves as one of your greatest ever managers, your greatest Premier League manager. It would be great for him to leave with trophies from your perspective. I understand that. Sky Sports would definitely love to send him off with that fanfare. But in terms of both teams, Chelsea need to win this far more, with almost £1 billion invested, sitting mid-table, potentially going through, if he gets sacked, to be their fourth manager in 2 years. The fan base out here talking madnesses.
Poch's first trophy in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Poch's first trophy. There's so much more riding on it for Chelsea, and also him winning it is also another conundrum, because it will give him more time. But again, it could make him better. But it could also mean you prolong the failures that are going on if he wins a trophy, because it doesn't mean winning a trophy doesn't mean you're a good manager to a degree, but it can sometimes paper over cracks. It really can.
Terry, the way I see it,
Chelsea winning it, I think, has such a ripple effect on football, like a wider ripple effect on football, where Liverpool winning it, you're viewing this, Ram, and I get it and I respect it, through the prism and the framing of how I feel as a Liverpool fan. I don't think you're looking at it through the eyes of football. It's Chelsea winning it. It's a much bigger deal for them, in my opinion.
I don't see anything massively changes even if they win it, because I still think the Chelsea fans, or maybe the board, might sack him, because they can't be limbering around mid-table again for another season.
They get European football.
Yeah, that's number one. Yeah, it buys him time, and at least it will hopefully give him that trust that we need in playing guys like Levi, Colwell, and all these guys in their natural positions, right? So there will definitely be a ripple effect. I agree with what Terry said. I
think for the group of players, there's definitely an effect on the group of players. If you win something as a team, it brings you guys know, like, I can win something with this team. You know what I mean? We won something together as a team.
And sometimes winning
that's the reason why a lot of people
more.
Yeah, exactly. That's the reason why a lot of people say about this Arsenal team, they still haven't won yet together. Do you know what I mean? They haven't been able to share that feeling of victory, like, we won this trophy. Do you know what I mean? We done our thing as a team. So that's important for the Chelsea team in their growth, to becoming the team that this Todd Bowley guy is trying to build. Do you know what I mean?
And just on that as well, if we beat Leeds in the FA Cup, we're in the quarterfinals, bro. That's literally 3 games away from the final. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think 4 games from the final. So
I think it's more.
It's gonna go a long way, man. It's gonna go a long way for us, 100%.
I think it obviously means more to Chelsea, and any Liverpool fan who thinks it means more to them, They're just looking at it from their perspective. As for, it doesn't mean anything for Todd Bowley in my sense. Sorry, it means a lot more to Todd Bowley and his trust with the fans. Because if he can get you guys some sort of silverware, even though you guys have been mid-table for majority of the time, this will gain a little bit more trust from the fan base, I believe. And I don't know if Don and a lot of the Chelsea fans will back everything blindly. Obviously, that's not going to be the case, but it will give them a little bit more credit in the bank. And maybe you'll see through a longer process rather than just sacking and changing managers every 2 weeks.
I disagree. I disagree. I don't believe that with the Chelsea fan base. I really think they're spoiled brats. I can't lie to you. I think that even if he wins this trophy, it's going to mean nothing to them. They want the big trophies. They want to be winning the big now. You know what I mean? They don't
our
want
fan base say like that. We're not like you. I'm sorry. We're not like you. We take whatever trophy.
Okay, yes, you'll take it, but for the manager, you won't take it for the manager. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but obviously it doesn't mean that everyone's
for us.
Yeah, but
and we're gonna respect it. No, bro, you're still gonna be like, I want Poch still. You know
of course. It doesn't mean that everyone's opinion now changes and says, listen, keep him is good enough for the job, because over the course of the season he hasn't been good enough. You know what I mean? He's been underperforming. But I've got to give him credit for putting this team together in his first year and getting that monkey off of his back. And finally, these lot can actually win something together within 6 months of playing together. So it will go a long way. But again, it will buy him a lot of time, and some fans will maybe cool off a little bit and say, okay, cool, let's see what he can do for the rest of the season. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of look at it, man. It's going to go a long way for us. 100%.
Yeah,
and I'm there as well. I need to see us win. You know what I mean? I need to see us win, Terry, bro, because, hey, otherwise, boy, I'm not going to go work the following day. I'm going to be
for one victory.
Blaze here is a long-standing Chelsea fan who watches the Terrace. He says, Terry, all my time watching this show, I never thought we would get our own version of Egal. Mr. Don, any team can say we lost because we wasn't set up correctly.
That's just a lie. That's just a lie, because I've looked at the players at certain parts in this season. I've looked at the manager at certain parts of this season. It's been a bit of both, but majority of the blame this season, it's been on Pochettino. I'm sorry, he has not been setting us up correctly.
Well, not the big players, Don, like your Enzos and your Caicedos.
I mean, I've spoken about Enzo earlier in the season. I said he's not performing at the level that he was last year, but I can't ignore how he's been played, where he's been played this season. You guys want me to ignore things and just crush on my players, innit? That's what you want me to do.
No, I don't think it's that. No, we also had a laugh and a joke on a few weeks ago when we sort of said that you act like really harsh on this team, but all I really hear when you break down what you say is this is what it sounds like, and this is how it feels like you implied to me. I think this team is pretty much as good as anybody else in the league if my manager would just play the 11 in the right place.
I do. Well, I do think that.
Well, so again,
not as good as every team, but
this is what we're saying. I think you honestly believe that you're up there with Liverpool's and Tottenham's and Arsenal's.
No.
You predicted third. You predicted third. So you must think you're somewhere near them.
I predicted third, then I changed it to fourth, right? Because of Liverpool's firepower. Obviously, in terms of in terms of how many chances that we've missed, it's been poor. But this team is definitely good enough to be in the top 6 comfortably as well, bro. No one can tell me otherwise. I'm sorry. This team's more than good enough to get in the top 6, man.
They ain't though.
But it isn't.
They ain't. Sorry. Like,
okay,
you can't be 11 and say you're good enough. You're not. You're not better than Brighton right now. You're not better than West Ham. You're not better than Man United. Let's not forget Man United. So you can't say you're good enough.
Well done, Pat.
Consistently over these last 25 games, we haven't seen it. You got to be. That's why even earlier when I said about Chelsea,
as well,
Liverpool should win. It's about consistency, and I've seen Liverpool be consistent so many times. Even when they're playing bad, they get a result. When you guys are playing bad, you get smashed 4-0. 5-0. So
but Patrick, this is the thing though. I agree with what you're saying, but you got to break it down tactically and what he's done in those games where we've been smashed. He has not been good enough as a manager. Is the point that I've made.
But that's
when Steven Gerrard, hold on, hold on, Patrick. Let me make.
Don, where your analysis is slightly flawed. Where your analysis is slightly flawed is we could all, probably barring the top 2 or 3 teams, even teams that are above you, because Man United are above you. But I think my manager makes mistakes. I'm sure that there are teams, Newcastle fans have called it out. Everyone could look at it and go, if my manager hadn't made these mistakes, would have won even more points. What you're saying is true, but I don't think it's exclusive to Chelsea. Man United are what, 9 points ahead of you, something like that, and whatever else. But let's not pretend like we haven't called our manager out for mistakes in every single game and we're still 9 points ahead of you. Brighton have made mistakes this year. West Ham fans have been calling for a manager who won their first trophy in 40 years to go. Right, some of them are. And I understand the calls. They're ahead of you, and they definitely make mistakes in games. That's the only thing I think you're missing here is, I remember Arsenal fans did this 3 or 4 years ago. They made this league table that shows when they have their first 11 available, they've actually got the second best form in the league. And what was really funny about it is, well, great, you've looked at games where your full team was available. Have you factored in on those game weeks which other clubs had players out? Because it's a flawed argument when you look at it in isolation at your football club.
Yeah, but Terry, the thing is though, I get what you're saying, but end of the day, I'm sorry, this guy's been making basic mistakes. Playing multiple guys out of position in a brand new team will never work. I said this from go back to August, go back to September. I said you'll never build cohesion doing that. And look where we are. We're in February now, and we're 10th. Do you know what I'm saying? I knew we would never build nothing playing like this. Do you know what I'm saying? So every manager here makes mistakes. I'm not saying that we don't. I'm not saying that. But end of the day, playing Ben Chilwell at left wing is a basic mistake. Playing Silva every single game when the guy's on the verge of being 40 is a basic mistake. Playing Levi Cole at left back, getting cooked week after week is a basic mistake. Playing Enzo Fernandez as a number 10.
My manager's playing Victor Lindelof.
Mistake.
Victor Lindelof playing left back.
Bro, that's because you've got no one else. That's because you've got no one else.
Why have we got no one else? He rushed Luke Shaw back. He agreed to the cancellation of the loan for Rejection, which we could have kept. This is my point. I don't think you're.
We let Alvaro go.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong in your criticism, but the way you make it sound, it's like your manager's the only guy that's making basic mistakes. And I think every single fan base that's above you, probably even City fans, have said, "Why the hell does Pep keep playing Alvarez in a midfield role?" So even the best team in the world are criticizing basic mistakes their manager's making. That's where I think you have to look a bit deeper at certain players that haven't performed. And I don't think it's as basic as just if your manager had played what you believe to be your best 11 in the right positions, I don't believe you'd be 4th or 5th. I still think it'd be about 8th at best.
No, I've got to disagree with that, man, because based on examples of this season where we've performed, where we've been set up correctly, bro. Arsenal, yeah, we played very well. Man City.
Don, this is where you're going. You've been going, Don. This is Don. You've been going.
Me and Terry, I'm replying back to what Terry says. I'm replying back to what Terry says. Let me respond. No, let me respond.
Mention all the. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say we played good against Arsenal, played good against Tottenham, played good against Chelsea.
When we set up correctly, we didn't play well against Spurs.
You set up against the good teams, but you drop points against all of the small teams. You finish high in the table by performing against the small clubs. Get the 15 or 14 teams out of the way, beat them as much as you can, and then get focused on the bigger teams. But you're doing it the wrong way round. You're doing draws. And wait, you haven't even beat any of the big clubs apart from us with 9 men. You beat Man United, cool. Apart from that, you didn't beat Arsenal. You didn't beat City.
I didn't beat Man United.
But Jules,
they didn't even beat United.
This is what you guys are missing. Hold on, Jules. This is what you guys are missing. I'm not saying that if the guy sets us up correctly, we're going to win every single game. I'm not saying that. Yeah, let's get that right. No. Let's get that right. But what I'm saying is, if you set the team up correctly and they play better, it gives you a better chance.
So if you play better, obviously you're gonna win.
You've got a better chance of winning, bro. If your team are playing better,
I've been listening. Yeah, can I say something to you? No. I wouldn't normally butt you in.
Bro, if anybody plays better, they win. What are we doing?
I'm looking at your Chelsea team. Yeah, this is how I'm looking at it. Right, Sunday 3 o'clock. Yeah, Sunday 3 o'clock. Reece James is out. Yeah, and we can all say, yeah, he's probably a starter, but Malo Gusto's come in and he's been a very good player this season. When you look at the 11 you're going to play, other than Sterling or Nkunku, whoever starts on the left, for Pochettino and for most Chelsea fans right now, you have got your best 11 out on the pitch Sunday. So forget the ifs, forget the setup. You've just said, yes, exactly. Your best 11 will be on that pitch Sunday against a Liverpool team that might not have 2 or 3 of their best players. So forget everything else that you're talking about and just say, look, we've got the best 11 we can possibly have on that pitch apart from Reece James on Sunday. Let them go out and see if they can perform. Simple as that. Why are we going around the houses?
Bro, I said that earlier. I said if he sets us up correctly, we win the game.
No, but he's going to. No, it's not an if.
No, he will. He will.
I hope he does.
I hope he will.
Guys, I'm gonna get score predictions on what we think to happen. I'm gonna go to Sard first. Score predictions for the game, brother.
Score predictions. I think it's gonna be a 1-1, and then it goes to penalties. I'll be honest with you guys. I think it's gonna be a 1-1. Goes to penalties.
1-1.
I'm gonna edge it to Liverpool. Just because of the experience, man.
Igal, what you going with, bro?
I need Liverpool to pull through, and I believe they will. I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool.
Chatty Patty?
Not even I need or this and that. I just think Liverpool are the better team, and I think on the day they will. And Klopp being the better manager, more experience in these moments, I think it's going to be a tight game because Chelsea will turn up. But I'd say 2-1 Liverpool. But yeah, that's just from a footballing standpoint. That's all bias and all rivalries aside. Liverpool will win.
George?
Same, I can't lie. I think Chelsea go 1-0 up, but Liverpool win 2-1.
Ty?
Yeah, fair. Yeah. By the way, Don, Casado will play next to Enzo, so that will be the setup will be correct. And then I'm gonna go 2-2 Liverpool to win in extra time.
What you going with, Ram?
I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory. Both our goals are going to be set pieces. It's going to be an ugly game.
Interesting. A man like Don, what's your prediction, bro?
2-1 Chelsea.
I like it. Viewers, give us your score predictions in the comments section below. Look, I want to talk about, before we go on to talk about Arsenal and the title race, Champions League and everything else, I want to talk about our title sponsor today, Match Bingo. This is, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, an absolutely phenomenal game to play during Premier League football matches. These are the Match Bingo cards that you get. Some of them are free. You get 10-3 per month if you sign up now. Some of them you buy. They're like £2 each. Very, very cheap, inexpensive. And you get a bingo card. And the bingo card essentially gives you all different things that have to happen in a game for you to win money. You either get one line, wins you £25, two lines, wins you 50 quid, or you get a full house. The total prize changes. Sometimes it's 100, 150. Sometimes it's as big as £1,000. These are some of the cards I've had recently. See this bad boy here? I thought I was going to win on this one. I'm not even going to lie. Other than the fact, this is always a killer if you get 1 minute of injury time added on. Because getting 1 minute of injury time added on in 2024 is certainly difficult. But I absolutely love playing this game. Do you know what I love about it? I like a little flutter during a game. But I don't know about you boys. Sometimes it's like I don't know what to bet on. I'm like, do I go for next goal scorer? With this, you don't have to choose. You just get a random bingo card and you're just sitting there hoping. I'm not even going to lie. I've been sitting there watching games screaming for corners. I don't care about the result. I just want a corner.
Just get a shot on target, man.
What's the centre half one? What's that one?
The centre half, the ones in the middle.
The one just below.
The one just below what, sorry?
Just below the one which looks like
there's goal 4. So what that means is it means a goal being scored in the 4th, 14th, 24th, 34th, 44th, 54th minute. So it's basically a goal whenever it's in the something 4 at the end of it. So it's like, and the other day I had one, 15 minute the goal was scored. I had a 16. So it's kind of cool. It's a little bit of fun. As I say, it's inexpensive to play. I absolutely love it because it's kind of like stress-free. A little stress-free bet, if that makes sense, because you haven't got to think about what you're doing. Do I cash out or not, or anything like that? It's great. And the really good thing about Match Bingo is a lot of their proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Society. So they give a lot of their profits and proceeds to supporting people with Alzheimer's, family with Alzheimer's. So there is a really good cause behind it as well, which is great to see because most firms are not doing that. So if you fancy playing it, people, get it downloaded. You can either scan the QR code now and sign up and get it sorted later. You can do it now if you want as well. And there's lots of cards available over the course of this weekend, plus some freebies to be given away as well. So thank you to them. Now, Bingos is great as well. You're right. There's a thing called Bingos on there as well, which is just certain teams and clubs scoring as well. So you're absolutely right, Roms. Go check that out, people. There's loads of good stuff on there. It's really, really fun. Arsenal lose last night, and obviously the world has gone into meltdown. I'm seeing Arsenal fans that were trusting processes now say that they're not trusting processes. I saw Gunnar Solskjaer come on here a week ago talking about how they can beat anyone in the world and he loves his manager and club. Almost Arteta out again last night. We've got Igal predicting 4-0 wins away from home in the Champions League and they drop points. Igal, what was your reaction to last night's defeat and the sort of the outrage that's come from lots of Gooners and lots of rivals since?
Disappointment, of course. When you play very negative, you're playing into your opponent's hand and you're basically giving them opportunity to snatch it at the end of the game. We look like near the end of the game, we weren't even creating any chances for the majority of the game. And at the end of the game, we're just looking like we're trying to get the draw and get out of there. And you see the momentum shift, and Porto were just continuously giving us barrage of attacks. And I honestly put it down to the negativity that we set up with. So it is today, that game is on the manager. And of course, we could have played a faster tempo. We could have played a little bit quicker, more. We could have been more aggressive in the attack and tried to go for that goal. Like back in the day when you had the away goal rule, we should have tried to go for the goal, but we didn't. We kind of sat back. We kind of didn't take our chances when we had a couple chances, maybe two at best. And the reaction, Terry, is the reaction you're always going to get. This is what we are as fans. You're going to have moments where when you feel like you're expected to win off the back of 5 games, you get a result like that where you lose on the final kick of the game. There's going to be a level of anger. There's going to be a level of shock. There's going to be a level of this always happens to us in the Champions League also. So that is another factor that people will always bring up. This happens to us every year in the Champions League. And it's just like, when will it end? When will we finally just see like an easy road, an easy win in the Champions League group stages? Because it's been since 2017 when we were playing Barca and Bayern consistently back in those days, since 2006, 2007. I don't remember how long it's been since we got to a further stage in the Champions League. So I'm not surprised at all by the reaction. The meltdowns are going to happen, but the rivals, you guys enjoy it because you're not going to see many losses from Arsenal.
Do you know why I'm enjoying this?
This is arrogance. That's the arrogance right there.
Should I tell you why? Should I tell you why I'm enjoying this? I'm gonna let the people understand why I'm enjoying this so much, because Igal has had a lot to say about his team and has a lot to say about my team as well. So I'm just gonna play a little 10-second clip about what he said about Arsenal and about Liverpool.
I was respectful, but after we played them, we beat them comprehensively. I knew we're a better team than them. No debate.
But James, you spoke on a good point.
Jay, you said you test teams against your own team. When Arsenal played Tottenham, I knew Tottenham were a decent team to see. When I played Liverpool at home twice and I lost and I won the second game, I know that Liverpool are a false image behind all those goals and everything.
Do you still believe that, Igal? Do you still believe we're a false image?
Yeah, nothing changed. Our result doesn't affect my.
How can you say that we're a false image when usually my team, when they go to the Dragons' Den, slaps 5 against them. When Don's team goes to the Dragons' Den, they slap 2 or 3 against them. So how can you say we're a false image when your team is getting beaten by a Porto team who, let's be fair, is not as good as the teams that we used to play against? So please explain that to me, Igal.
First of all, your team is not as good as the team that used to be when you're in the Champions League, or else you'd be in the Champions League this year. Number one. Number two.
No, the Porto team we played was better.
That's number one. Number two, the two do not correlate. My opinion of Liverpool does not get changed by a result versus Arsenal Porto. So come again with another point, because I honestly don't see the correlation.
No, because you said you are objectively.
Is this segment about Liverpool or is it about Arsenal?
Because we're going to talk about the title race. You said you're objectively a better team than Liverpool, yet we are 5 points ahead of you. Explain that.
Yeah, because you have a game in hand. And when we win our game on the weekend, it's only going to be 2 points. But hey, you keep talking.
We're still ahead of you.
Oh wait, Ram. I like what you're doing, Ram. I like what you're doing, but you are pushing it a bit away from the cooking that Igal deserves for that performance yesterday.
Now everyone,
what you've done, Ram. What you've done, I'll be honest with you, you've gone a little too early on that bit. That needs to come after this segment, because we'll come back to what you're saying, because I want to speak about last night's game, because Igal, and we'll come back to what you're saying, Ram, because I think there's elements of importance to that. In terms of what something Igal said, and I want to throw this out to the panel. You've said the same thing that Mark Goldbridge said, Igal, that it was Arsenal being negative and trying not to win. I saw it as Arsenal trying to win, but just not being able to break down a very resolute low block side. Like, I want to go to Patrick first on this. What did you see it as? Was it Arsenal being negative, or was it just a struggle to break down a very resolute, well-drilled Porto team?
I saw it as Arsenal being not naive, probably I'd say inexperienced is probably what I saw it as, inexperience in Europe. And for as good as they've been in the Premier League, and as good as Saka and Odegaard and all these guys have been, when it comes to playing in big scale Champions League away games, this team doesn't know how to do that because they haven't been through it. Every time they've played in these big moments, in these knockout games, they've come a cropper. And yesterday was another example of that. And we all expect them to beat them at home. We all get it. But away games against good teams in the Champions League, you got a European heritage comes into play. Porto play this competition year in and year out. They know what they're doing. The fans are up for it. They know what they're doing. And you guys you walked into the Lions' den and you got a rude awakening. And yeah, and this is what I mean when I said it earlier about us fans saying about Xabi Alonso going to Bayern Munich. Sometimes we live in cuckoo land and we think the Premier League is the be-all and end-all. There's leagues around the world and Europe, and there's players in Europe that are up for it 100% when they play Premier League teams because of all the fanfare it comes with. And these guys that have that Champions League pedigree, they're just on the ball and they know what they're doing. And to not have a shot on target, that is criminal. That's disgusting. That is atrocious football. You know, you look at your Burnleys and your Lutons and your Norwiches, and even these guys will probably get one shot on target. To not have a shot on target, big questions need to be asked of Arteta. And then for me, David Raya to get beat like that, what was he doing? Like, he should be saving that shot. I'm sorry, his positioning is awful. He's all over the place. Declan Rice should have got closer to the player and defended it. There's a lot of things that went wrong in that last passage of play, and rightfully so. You left without the points, and it's all well and good having all the possession, amount of corners and all of that, but at the end of the day, the stat that matters is the final scoreline.
Patrick, just to add to that possession, Igal tweeted at
But that's
halftime.
harsh, Patrick.
He said,
On the
hold on,
goalkeeper.
Igal.
On the goalkeeper, that's harsh. Come on.
His positioning was awful. He should not be getting beaten from there.
Awful positioning.
Like that.
The ball ended up in the bottom corner. It was awful.
Exactly. It's like, come on.
And Igal, if you even go check statistically last season, him and Kepa let in the most long range shots. That's why I didn't want Raya, because he's 6 foot like Kepa. He's not that tall for a keeper. But Patrick, yesterday, Igal tweeted at halftime saying Arsenal dominated that first half. Dominate? How did you dominate that first half? You know the definition of dominate.
You're gonna name the stats. Go on.
1 second. I actually meant to say, I edited it. I said Arsenal dominated possession. And if you read the full tweet, what did I say after that? Well, we didn't do nothing with the ball. It was not a compliment. The tweet was not a compliment at all. It was actually an indictment to how we were playing. We had majority of the ball. We didn't do nothing with it. That's what I was pointing out. So if you read it as dominated, no, we had all the possession. We didn't do shit with it. It was an insult to the team. What were we actually doing with the possession? We dominated possession, but we did nothing with it. It's an indictment to our possession. What were we doing? We were passing backwards, forwards,
I just call that literally holding on to the ball. You didn't do anything, because let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not a compliment.
Literally, even when you watch the game, like I was watching the game, and even though Arsenal had a lot of the ball, you didn't create no chances. Every time I saw like a dangerous attack or a team going forward, it was Porto. Porto were catching you guys on the counter, breaking down the left, breaking down the right. And the whole performance just exude like inexperience. Like, your players weren't ready for it. The fact that I saw Declan Rice come in 1 minute into a knockout game performance and clatter someone, yellow card. Like, he's lost his mind. They just weren't up for it. The likes of Saka, the man that's been compared to Gareth Bale and Eden Hazard all week by you, Agal, let's say, by the way. You compared him to Bale. No. You compared him to Bale. When I called you out for it, you didn't respond.
Statistics don't lie.
Funnily enough, your statistics didn't lie. But what did lie was the performance. Saka, knockout rounds, FC Porto, done nothing. He had one dribble the whole game. One dribble attempt. And that is what you call a winger. Is this what we call a winger in 2024? It's absolutely poor. Your teams weren't up for it. The players weren't up for it. And the arrogance that you have for the team that performs, yes, in the Premier League, you've battered a couple of the little boys. You had a good performance against Liverpool. But know your level. When it comes to Champions League and European pedigree, you have none. Zilch. None. And your team has showed it. 0 shots on target in what? Since 2017 in the Champions League. Yeah, I saw that stat. That killed me. But take it back. You haven't even gone through to the set quarterfinals since 2009 or something. 15 years. 14 years or something. Like, come on, go. For you to sit there and go for the first time in a Champions League knockout and say, we're going to beat them 4-0 away from home. That just shows you're not ready for the for the Champions League, and you're not ready for them big European nights, because your team.
Your fans are living in La La Land. You're living in La La Land.
Naivety kills, man.
Yeah.
Can I throw this out there? Right, I'll get called a simp, but I've got to play devil's advocate. I did it with Alonso earlier. Our rivals and some Gooners, though, not themselves going a little bit early because it's only half time. And for me, if they go and beat them 2 or 3, if they go and beat them 2-0, 3-0, 3-1 in the second leg, is this cooking not coming a little bit too early, potentially, Ty?
Terry, do you know why? Terry, do you know why?
They've been hungry. Ram, let me go. These guys have been hungry, Terry, for anything to actually get us with.
No,
because
like
we've had great results.
No, man.
They've been looking at the team and they're like, "Oh, we can't make
out. You chat the most. You do the most on Twitter.
No, you guys.
So much.
You guys.
No, Egal. You did this with the Real Madrid celebration.
Stop. One at a time, please. Sorry, go on, Egal. Say your bit, and then we'll throw it out to the panel.
Okay, I can tell the way the reactions and the over celebration of whenever Arsenal drop points or anything negative happens towards Arsenal, you can see that these guys are actually worried that this might be the year Arsenal pulls something off. I know that none of them expect us to win the Champions League.
That's why.
None of us expect us to win the Champions League, but they all picked us to win against Porto. That's why they're partially here trying to banter us, because they probably all selected us.
No, Egal, have some self-awareness, please.
So when it comes to this whole thing, Terry, people believe that the Champions League heritage, Porto, the fact that they won a Champions League years ago is going to win them the game at the Emirates. And they believe the fact that they're going to that next tie.
Let me just ask you a question though. And again, I'm being neutral to this as best I can. Do you not think that a team like Porto that are regularly in the Champions League, whose fans, by the way, know what it? I know that me and you have had some spats. You said you tweeted something recently that what fans say and do has no impact on the field of play. I completely disagree. I think the behavior of fans at grounds, the anxiety they push out or the support they push out helps a football team. It's why you win more games at home than away from home, because of your home fans versus away fans as a general rule. So do you not think that know-how and that experience as a club, as individuals and as fans gives them an element of an advantage over a club that's spent the best part of a decade away from the Champions League, a team that's a team right now as individuals that's never played a Champions League knockout game? Do you think that has no impact at all?
Experience obviously has an impact, Terry, but it's not the be on and end all. We're going to be at home, and I expect us to beat Porto at home in the second leg. And I expect it to be an easy, not easy win, but like for us to get through this tie and it be a lot more comfortable than people making it seem, because they're making it seem like we're going to be struggling until the 90th minute in the second tie in our own ground.
No. We're not doing that, Egal. We're not doing that.
There's a reason why the second leg is at our house, is because we topped our group and Porto didn't. And I'm coming into the second tie, and I'm saying no worries. You guys all celebrate. You enjoyed this, but as an Arsenal fan, I'm looking at this team and I'm saying that we're still going to do the business at the Emirates. Until this thing is done, you guys can continue to have your early celebrations. Because no.
Can I just say something? It's not about early celebration. The truth is, right? Everyone expects you to beat Porto, by the way. So you beating Porto and then coming back on you after the second leg. I told you, no, that's a formality. You should be beating Porto. What it is the naivety of you guys that thinking you were going to rock up to Porto and just beat them at a landslide. That's what we're coming to you at.
I'm seeing Chelsea do it. I'm seeing Chelsea.
I'm just trying to give you the real side of it.
Bro, don't compare us to you lot in Europe.
Don't compare my team to your team, bro.
Don't compare
Egal, where I'll call you out on that is, Egal, where I'll call you out, you're Canadian and was supporting Canada at the World Cup, and you came on and cooked me when England got knocked out. Like, that's just part of football.
See,
like,
Terry, this is what Egal, this is how Egal views football. The fact that he said Chelsea and Liverpool can go there and go do it, why can't we? Shows that you watch football. You look at football on paper too much. That's number one.
Okay, fair enough.
When it comes, first of all, Egal,
I have the full right to, off the back of the results that we had, to have a lot of confidence going into this tie.
Not for no confidence. Not for no confidence. You're not us as well. Don't compare us when it comes to Europe. We're not the same.
Why are you guys making it
because
seem like
our teams won the damn trophy?
Our team won
the damn part of the reason why you guys are cooking right now is because you expect Arsenal to come into this tie and win.
No, we're cooking because of how you're arrogant.
Ram. Those two are arguing. Sorry, just because we can't hear what they're saying. Sorry, bro.
The reason why you're getting cooked, Egal, is because of the arrogance that you lot have showed going into this game. Yeah, I said, look, in my head, I thought, okay, Arsenal will go there. They should win the game, but it's not going to be a straightforward game the way you lot are moving on social media, 4-0 this and 5-0 this, and every single one of your player gets into Real Madrid. Bro, Champions League does not work like that. There's too many variables. There's too many intangibles. Yeah. When I was looking at the game yesterday, I wasn't seeing a team that was set up to be tactically negative. I was looking at a team that just looks nervous, bro. I looked at a team that just looks like they lacked experience. Saliba, he had a poor game, and this is a guy that we're talking about being generational. Do you know what I mean? Gabriel, he wasn't great. Of course he is, but I'm just saying he had a poor game, yesterday. Your midfield, Declan Rice, how many times did he give the ball away yesterday during the game? Like George already said earlier, got a yellow card quite early. Saka, stinking out the place. Martinelli, he kept trying, but stinking out the place. Trossard, Ghost, Havertz, what is he? Do you know what I mean at this point? Odegaard, lose touches here and there. There was a certain part in the second half where Rice fizzed it into him. Usually Odegaard will take it on his back foot and turn. Bro, the ball just fizzed past him. That's him being nervous, bro. These guys were not used to that environment that they were in. And these are the things that you got to look at in the Champions League, because again, they beat you yesterday from a big moment. And that's what Champions League is all about, bro. Big moments and chess games, bro.
They beat us because they took their chances and their tactics. It worked to perfection.
They played better than you.
Guys,
I'm gonna
be honest. Their tactics worked to a T. They wanted to keep the game close, and at the end, they went for it. Momentum shifted their way, and they ended up getting the breakthrough, even though it was at the last kick of the game. You got to give them full credit. I'm not saying, even though it's a smash and grab, full credit to them, because that was their game plan. As for us, we didn't execute our game plan. We have to look at ourselves. I fully agree with you guys there, but let's not overdo it and make it seem like, oh, all these players are overrated now. All these players are not good as.
Nah. That's not what we said. That's not what we're saying, bro.
Maybe you're not saying that, but a lot of people are doing this. They're looking at all these guys. They're talking about how Arsenal fans big up these players and making it seem like one result changes the whole trajectory.
The first thing that I said is you lot looked inexperienced and nervous. Is the first thing that I said. I didn't say your players are. I didn't say your players are bad. Did I?
You know that is the definition of what happened at the end of the game. Because Martinelli, if he was a more experienced player, he doesn't kick it to Bukayo Saka into a dangerous area where we could lose the ball. He holds on to it and tries to dribble up the court, up the pitch, to get into a more safer area where he can't lose the ball. So I agree with you with the experience part, but let's not go overboard and make it seem like just because we lost to Porto in this tie, that the tie is done, that we're out of Europe. And everything else. I need to educate everybody. You keep bringing up our past. Guess what? Our past, we played Barcelona and Bayern Munich for 7 years straight. 7 years straight, we played teams that are the best teams in Europe, and we constantly got knocked out. Before that, we played Monaco and got knocked out. So honestly, I am not looking at the past with this team. I'm looking at this team as a whole different picture. And I expect this team to still get through this round. And if we have an easy tie next round, I still expect us to get through next round. You can talk about arrogance, you can talk about everything else, but I look at these players as individuals, and I don't look at the past to dictate how the performance is going to go going forward, besides a couple of results that happened recently.
I want to throw this out before we're going to go to some of the super chats. I want to respect the viewers here. This from Nick says that goal is Raya's fault. He ain't it. 6th or 7th best starting goalkeeper in the Premier League. Ramsdale isn't any better for me. Mid off, the goalkeeper we should have was in the other goal. Porto showed experience. I will say Costa looked amazing last night. He looked absolutely amazing in terms of command in his box. This here comes from Stay Finessing. He says, Igal, you melt. You've lost all European knockout games at home under Arteta. Go stat pad some FA Cups and plates. You need heritage for this. Are you worried about that stat, though, that you haven't won a home knockout tie under Arteta? Is that not a concern for you at all, Igal?
Didn't we beat Olympiacos?
No, you haven't won a home knockout tie under him. That's fact.
You remember that with Aubameyang?
So we won our tie away from home 3-2.
Yes, but again, are you not worried that you haven't won a European knockout game at home under Arteta?
No, Terry. Second half, different team, different performances. We're gonna see them show up. Don't worry.
Fair enough. Home second leg. Learn from the first leg. Too early to banter at half time. Football gods are listening. Do you agree with that, Sar? Do you think rivals are doing too much too soon?
Yeah. Listen, I think the banter is coming a bit too soon, but also. Listen, there was a lot of people that were very, very excited, man. Like, I was excited to a certain degree. I thought it was going to be 2-1. I thought that we were going to score 2 goals, and they have pacey wingers, so I definitely knew we'd concede at least 1 goal because they have pacey wingers and they have very technical players. But I do believe it's the stick is coming. a bit too early because I think going into the home game we are favourites, obviously because we're home. But listen, they've definitely got something to fight for now because they've got that one goal, and anybody who knows the Champions League knows, bro. If they've got one goal, all they have to do is sit back, 2 rows of 4, bang, that's it. They've got you lot. They're just like, listen, you come attack us. We're just gonna be in our box chilling, and we'll wait for you to come and attack us. If you can get through, you get through. But we're just gonna play the long game, and they're just gonna be trying to do the same thing that they did at home, which was
I'm not gonna lie to you,
give us all the possession.
How I look at it when it comes to the Emirates, yeah. Again, you lot at home, you're a little bit more comfortable. That's where Saka seems to be comfortable as well. You know what I mean? He doesn't like playing away from home. But how I look at this game, yeah, it all depends on who you have available. Obviously, you will miss it. Oh, yeah, there we go. there we go. There we go.
There you are.
How I look at it, yeah. Like obviously, at the Emirates, you've got an advantage because you're at home and you play better there, yeah. But it all depends on who you have available, bro. Because yesterday he only brought on Jorginho, right? This guy clearly weren't trying to trust Nketiah, a guy that he just gave a new contract. Again, not trying to trust Reece Nelson, even though Saka stunk out the place the whole game, and Martinelli stunk out the place the whole game. So I'm looking at who you're going to be able to bring into the game. Maybe have a Partey on the bench, Jesus on the bench, Zinchenko, I think will help as well against a low block. That's what I'm looking at as a key factor next game.
I think you're on mute. I don't know.
You're muted, Gal.
But you ain't got.
If I would have said that, wouldn't he have said excuses, Omar? I mean, why did I say Omar? My bad. Sorry.
No, it's not excuses.
What if listen. Right now, the stick is coming. The stick is coming.
Very offensive. Very offensive.
Yeah. Listen, I just, for me personally, I can't lie. I think obviously, listen, we have a lot of players coming back, and even yesterday the substitutions were very poor. Bringing on Jorginho at such a late stage for me was a very poor decision to make.
Should have come on at half time.
I thought he should have come on at half time. Also, I thought Fabio Vieira could have come into this game. He played for Porto. He knows how they play. So don't you need somebody with an experience from that team to be on the pitch with us and trying to help us? Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that bit so much. I thought that was generally that's like a little bit of a secret weapon because there's no way you, even if he's not been good enough for the Prem. We know the Premier League is slightly more physical. You could tell by the kind of fouls that Arsenal were giving away last night. That was another bit of naivety. Even from the older, I saw Julian on AFTV talk about you couldn't even touch him. But that's been European football for 20 plus years. You know you can't be physical, and that's where this Arsenal team has got to learn and learn quickly. Tony here says the disrespect to Porto is real. You need to put more respect on them. Porto has no pressure on the win away. That's a fair point. Most Arsenal fans said 0-0 or 1-0. I will say that, to be fair, most gooners that like watched the Terrace when we did a show about this the other day, they were talking 1-0s and things like that. But I get why Gal is kind of getting cooked for the things he said.
Hey, my team scored 21 goals in 5 games, Terry. Can I feel confident?
Of course you can. No, of course you can. But I also understand why if you say 4-0 and then you lose 1-0, you're going to get cooked. If you'd have come on and said, I think we might scrape a 1-0 or a 0-0, I think you'd have been left. Like I'm talking about you individually. Yeah. It's like Don sitting here and saying that he's got the only manager in the league that makes mistakes. He's like he's going to get cooked for that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's didn't say that, by the way, but we move.
Blaze here says only Arsenal had to pray for Porto trending before the game. And you're right, Igal. We won't see many losses from Arsenal, but you know what else we won't see for Arsenal? Trophies is what Blaze says.
Well,
big up Blaze, man. Big up Blaze, man.
Misery loves company. None of these man in the Champions League. That is true.
Yeah, man.
The rest of us got when we're in there, we're winning. When we're in there, we're winning, bro.
Dom saying have self-awareness is wild. It's true. I love Don. I love it. Igal, if Liverpool starting 11 beat you without Rice, Odegaard, and Saka, and with Saliba, Raya having their worst game ever, is Porto FC better than Arsenal?
No. That's why we're getting cooked because they outperformed us on the day. They're not a better team.
Yeah. Tevin here says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's fans like Igal that make it harder for Arsenal fans in spaces, and why we get grilled all the time is what Tevin has got to say here.
Bro, I don't control how people treat you.
No, you don't control what they do. You don't control what they do. But I do. I listen. I get it. But equally, like each to their own, innit? Like I don't think Igal should. I respect the super chat, but Igal shouldn't stop because somebody else might get a little bit of crap. That's very true. Igal should be himself, and that's why I love Igal. Don, oh come on, man! I love you as a Chelsea fan, but hey, you need to listen to what other people say and understand them as well.
Bro, I literally understood what they all said, but I just had to clarify that I'm not saying if we're set up correctly, we're going to win weekly. All I'm saying is it gives the team a better chance to play better, which in return should mean more W's. That's it. That's all I want.
Roman, he wants you back, man. He wants you back.
Yeah, they all want you back, Roman. Don is lying. He knows full well Chelsea fans are the most spoiled and expect their team to win everything. Now they don't believe in the process, is what Plasma Fam says. Man like Lamb, ready to lose on Sunday. Lamb, that's I like that. We call it. We in fairness, you've grown up a lot, Ram, because my nickname for him used to be two backer because he had no chest, he had two backs. That's what we used to say to him one year. Man like two backer.
No, you got
I like that one. I thought that might have caught on, you know. That was during the Star Wars hype. I thought it was a good one. Apparently, Chelsea can't financially afford to win due to UEFA financial rules. No, I mean, all the new rules that UEFA have brought in predate. And by the way, if you're not in Europe, you can sign people on as long a contract as you want up until now. They won't penalize you after the fact. You can't do that. It's like, imagine you parked on a double yellow line 3 weeks ago and you're not there anymore. Then you get a ticket because it's now a double yellow line. You can't be doing man like that. Terry, where is Sava? I don't know. I don't know where he is right now. I hope he's well. I hope he's good. I hope he's doing his thing. But Rao, I want to go back to you now. Do you think Arsenal's defeat is going to have a knock-on effect in the Premier League this weekend? Because Liverpool won last night and went 4 points clear of City, 5 points clear of Arsenal. Arsenal playing Newcastle on the back of this defeat. Do you see it having an impact on the way Arsenal play this weekend against Newcastle, or do you think different competition back at home in the league, inconsequential?
I think Arsenal are lucky that they're playing Newcastle, because I think Newcastle are just as bad themselves. Who was their last game against? It was against Luton, or was it Bournemouth or something like that? And they drew at home. So Arsenal are lucky to have someone like Newcastle, because I don't think they're going to beat Newcastle. I don't think Newcastle are going to beat them. I think Arsenal are going to have a pretty standard routine game. If it was like a Man United or a Chelsea, then I'll be having a different conversation. But because it's Newcastle and the fact that they are already like they don't have majority of their players and they're not playing particularly well, I expect Arsenal to beat them. But I honestly believe if you lot don't beat Newcastle, this is going to be a serious problem, because then it's a bigger issue. Now we just got to talk about mentality, because you are by far better than Newcastle. You play better football than Newcastle, and you should be smacking them. That's my opinion on that game. If you don't, and you draw or you lose, then serious conversations got to be had about your team. But you won't. You'll probably beat them about 2 or 3-0. So
you don't believe there's going to be a side effect?
I think it would have been a bigger test if it was against a Chelsea or a United, but because it's Newcastle and they're not doing particularly well, I think you're going to smack them.
Yeah. You see, after everyone celebrated the loss yesterday, Terry, they've now come back to their senses and they realize that just because you lose one game doesn't mean all of a sudden you're a terrible team.
I got. You always do this thing. Yeah. You always do this thing.
Your comprehension's all over the place, bro.
And also acknowledge that you're still a decent team and you're going to beat teams. We can come here and cook you for what you've said. It doesn't mean that we think you're going to lose your next couple.
We're cooking you.
Egal, we are
cooking
your opinion.
You know something?
What you're trying to do, Egal. You want everyone to be against you, so when you win, it feels better. That's what you want.
Everyone's already
against the world. Us against the world.
It's Arsenal's public enemy number one. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
No, your fan base are probably enemy.
It's your fans, bro. It's your fans.
Most
your fan base.
I just want to know.
You especially.
I just want to know.
Guys, sorry. Look at Jordan. Jordan, don't let me laugh. Jordan says, "I can't lie. Gal makes me want to hate my fan base."
Everyone has parts of their fan base they don't like. I know.
Jay reckons here, guys. Jay says the gal has you man on strings.
Ow.
He does.
Never.
No, he does. He is. He's got you all moving like Pinocchio, brother. 100%.
The way he said one thing, yeah, these man's like, hold on a minute, go.
I want to know.
Bro, it's
Who's
comprehension,
predicting a Newcastle win or draw?
Just talk football. Are Arsenal going to win this weekend, boys?
Yes,
Right,
we expect
so.
them to.
I think so.
But a gal's acting like we've all come on here and said that Arsenal is shit, this player's crap, that player's crap. None of us said that.
No, but when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking about you guys only. I'm speaking to the public.
No, but even the public, gal, the public know you're a good team. But the public know that in Champions League knockout games, you guys lack the experience and the know-how to go against certain teams away from home, to come and say we're going to win them 4-0 easy game. That was wild. And obviously you're getting pulled up on that. No one's out. I've not seen one person turn around and say, "Oh, Arsenal are crap. They're gonna go out. They're this, they're that." No one's saying that. But when you come out here and say all of this wild stuff and then it doesn't come into fruition, you will get cooked for that. That's standard.
We all know your team's good. Why do you need so much validation every single time? I don't get it.
No one needs validation. I'm just merely putting, one second. I'm just merely putting stuff in perspective because some people were taking it a little bit too far. Maybe not you guys, but just understand there are Tottenham fans that I spoke to yesterday that are saying there's no difference between you and us. There are people out here telling me. There are people telling me out here that this loss proves to me that you're not on the level of the teams like City at this moment in time. And I'm just saying,
You're not though, Agal. So what are you on about?
Agal, respectfully, what goes around.
My point is, one loss doesn't dictate and prove anything. If we were knocked out yesterday, it would be a different story.
Agal. Do you know why you're contradictory to yourself? Because literally, just when you come into the show, you basically said the win against Liverpool showed you that you was better than Liverpool. One game showed you that.
No,
how does one game now not? How does one game now?
No. When you're judging yourself compared to another team and you play them 3 times, your performances against that team can definitely tell you what you think about how good you are. No. We played them 3 times.
In your voice note, you said this game showed me this game.
That Emirates game.
Maybe I need to be more precise when I speak, so you get my point. But hey, long story short, we're not losing to Newcastle. 8:00 kickoff. I expect us to win easy 3-1. If we can keep a clean sheet, it would be great. But somehow we always concede against Newcastle. It's going to be a rough and tough game. This is where we need to bounce back and show a good performance at home with the home crowd. I'm going to try to get tickets to go to the game myself. And I know if I show up, we're winning guaranteed.
Really?
Yeah.
Boys,
I
don't know your record.
I've got to shoot. Next time I come on, I hope it's going to be me, you know what I'm saying, lifting those big ears, man. You know what I'm saying? Up the Chelsea every time, man. Big up, man.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, Don. Thank you. No, I think Arsenal will win this weekend. As much as they were poor last night, it is a different. And this is irony. It is a different competition, and I just think I think Arsenal will learn a lot from last night, but they've got to learn really, really quickly. I don't see Newcastle look really poor at the minute. I genuinely don't. Of course, they can win. I'm not saying that there's 100% no chance they do it, but I think they will bounce back. I think that it's a very different situation. But Liverpool winning last night does put a little bit of pressure on Arsenal and put a little bit of pressure on City, because that's a nice little gap. And with them now being able to focus on the Carabao Cup, it makes it a really, really interesting weekend indeed. This here from Tevin. Tevin here says, George, I can't ever pronounce that word. It's soliloquy. Soliloquy, that's the one. I know what it means. I just struggle to say it. On our team says otherwise. The way he went at Saka, asking what kind of winger he is. I see you, fam. We'll see Saka. We'll see on Saka, is what Tevin says you hear, George.
I mean, what kind of winger is he? 1 dribble attempt in a Champions League knockout round when they were comparing him to Gareth Bale, the Gareth Bale. Says a lot. It says a lot, man.
I think that's partially due to the system, but that's just my opinion. I think in the system that Arteta plays, sometimes he plays him as a very controlled. He plays him as like a winger. Like he tells him to hold himself back, bro. Don't take on your man. Don't risk us leaving space in behind.
I get that,
these
and I would.
That's the only reason why I don't like the.
I agree to an extent. There's a system problem, but 1 dribble attempt, 1 That's not a system problem. One, that's the player. The player's afraid to run at his man. That's just simple, basic. Well, you're playing on the wing. You have space. You have space in front of you. Attack the space. Beat your man. If Saka was doing that job, beating his man on the left side, taking him on and putting crosses into the box, you would have had it on target. You would have had some more chances. But he didn't do that. And that's why Arsenal played so bad. And you have to look at the way he plays. That's causing a problem to you guys. That doesn't take away, and I'm not calling him a bad player or anything. I'm far from that. But at the end of the day, that's not the type of winger that I like or the type of wingers that I watch. And
yeah, but when he's playing for England, you're rooting for him, cheering him on.
I'm not an England fan, so you're coming for the wrong guy, Gal. I would be rooting against him. So again,
who is support?
It's the case that you set him, you kind of set him up to fail in a sense, because when you made the comparison with Bale, you're gonna put too much expectations on the guy,
especially on Champions League week. You done it wrong.
I welcome one second. I welcome the expectations for my players, because I expect my players, when I pick them up, for them to deliver to that level. If they don't deliver to that level, I'm not going to shy away. For as long as Terry's known me, I've always picked up my players. And if there's a situation where one of these guys turned out to be frauds, like a Aubameyang, I'll tell you. But when they're performing and they're on that level, I expect those kind of performances.
Well, you don't
and
make
until Bukayo Saka is proven to be what you guys claim to be, not as good as you guys claim to be, or not as good as I claim to be, then we'll talk. But at this moment in time, Bukayo Saka is performing on a world-class level. He just had a bad game.
In terms of this weekend, what you predicting? Arsenal, Newcastle, 8 p.m. kickoff. What are you going for, Igal?
3-1 Arsenal victory.
3-1 Arsenal. What you saying, Chatty Pay?
2-0 Arsenal.
George?
I'm gonna go 1-0, a bit more conservative.
Sard?
I think it's going to be a 2-1. I think it's going to be a 2-1 to Arsenal.
Ram? You're on mute, Ram.
Oh, sorry. 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to go with 2-0 Arsenal. They might score more, but I'm going to go 2-0. I think they'll win the game, no doubt about it. I was about to ask who Chelsea got. I realised your game's been postponed, isn't it? So, Chelsea Spurs has been postponed this weekend. Other score predictions: Man United at home to Fulham. Opportunity to close the gap on Spurs. Do you think they'll win? Do you think they'll beat Fulham? Do you think United will get another victory? Or do you think United will come unstuck?
You guys are rolling, Terry. I think you guys are going to win again, and it's going to be a clean sheet. Keep the good times rolling. Get a 2-0 victory and get out of there. And I do believe you guys are going to potentially catch up to Tottenham and maybe overtake them very soon.
Of course, a guy will say that.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean, if we win this weekend, we have caught them. I know they'll have a game in hand over us, but we'll be level on points this weekend. I think we've got half a chance, and that's if. But you need Haaland to keep. Sorry, Højlund. I get confused because they're both so brilliant. Yeah.
No way you just said that.
I see what you did.
I do think. I've always said. Listen, I do think Højlund's brilliant. I'm just not sure yet. As much as we've won games, there's a level of it's not so convincing. And then I don't feel convinced after the way we beat Luton. And then I watched Luton last night against Liverpool, and I know that Liverpool beat them bad in the end, but it's only because they finished their chances in the second half. If we finished our clear-cut chances in the second half, we would have beaten them 4 or 5-1 as well, and it would have felt a lot different. But yeah, look, listen, I think we'll beat Fulham. Fulham, sitting 12th in the league. We're in good winning form at the minute. I'm just vibing out at the minute with Man United, in the sense of I do care about where we end up this season, but I'm more interested in the summer and the new direction. I just want I'm literally looking at little wins at the minute. Like Højlund's already the youngest player ever to score 6 games on the bounce. I'd like him to make it 7. It's unlikely that record's then going to get broke. It's a nice little thing to have. But we'll see. I'm not too scared of him. I'm not scared of Fulham at home. We'll get it done and we'll close in. And that's one thing about Arsenal. One thing I would say to the Spurs fans, you or I, your clubs might come 5th. We kind of need Arsenal to get through a few rounds of the Champions League for those points, so that 5th place might get us in the Champions League. That's one of the annoying things about celebrating it. So I think the Italian and German teams are in the top 2 places. We have essentially need the Germans and the Italians in all European competitions to really flop. We really do for those coefficient points.
It's a possibility. I mean, Bayern are losing against Lazio, so it could be
Leverkusen in the Europa.
I mean, you're in the Europa as well. It's just saying.
Dortmund could be going out as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd like them both because if the Germans go out and the Italians almost all go out, as long as we can get City might win it again, but then I don't want them winning two just so I can be in the Champions League. Jesus, that becomes hard there. That becomes hard. Listen, guys, I want to thank you all very much for coming on. I want to thank our title sponsors today at Match Bingo. Go and get it downloaded. Go and give it a play. You have to be in the UK and over the age of 18, so go and check it out. My panel tonight, it's been an amazing debate, some amazing challenges as well. To all of our super chatters, you are absolutely amazing. Genuinely, I appreciate each and every single one of you. If you haven't hit the like button yet, why? Go and get that smash. 1,200 of you have done it. We had over 5,200 people watching again. The numbers on the Top 6 show recently have been phenomenal for them being in the evening. So I want to thank everybody that has been tuning in. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again